In 3, 2, 1, and sleep, fully relaxing all the way down. And your mind is immediately going to bring you back to a time, an event, or a memory when people, if you want to release that feeling for good from that time, all I want you to do is just start breathing. So, who knows what we're going to do today? Does anyone have any ideas? What did you tell them?
I think most of you guys already experienced it a bit, like in online sessions. But
Yep.
obviously, while doing it in real life, it has a different dimension. I did it multiple times, and I would just say, like, be open to it. Believe that it can change something inside of you, because that's like 50% of the work.
Anyone not tried hypnosis before? Anyone first time? 2, 3, 4?
Only
Just
online.
with you,
Just with me. Okay, cool. We'll go into all of that, how it all works and all of that kind of stuff. But ultimately, it's just a transformational tool, basically, right? That's all it comes down to. I think a lot of people have misconceptions about what it actually is. It's, is it like you just like sleep, start quacking like a duck? Is it, some mind control kind of stuff? Ultimately, going into a hypnotic state all throughout the day. Like, if you guys think about when you were looking out of that ocean, there would have been moments when you kind of just zoned out for a little bit, if anyone was aware of that, right? That's you going into a trance state. So I'm not here to like hypnotize you or change anything. It's actually to dehypnotize yourself first, right? Because we're constantly in this trance state, and that's our subconscious, which is essentially controlling us. So what we want to do is essentially become aware of, okay, what are the actual things that are in our minds holding us back so that we can change them, okay? The reason why I use hypnosis as a tool, I've been, in this personal development space for over 10 years. The reason I use this is just because it's a much faster way to change. Most people, when you try and change, it's very conscious. So it's like, okay, and you need that. It's like, okay, what's the goal? Where do I want to get to? What's the action plan? All of that stuff is essential. But then sometimes, actually, let me ask you this question. Who here knows exactly what you need to do to get to your goal? Like basically exactly, but there's something stopping you from actually doing it. Raise your hand if you relate to that. I know you all will, because I read everyone's forms, and everyone else there should read it as well. And I had my AI analyze it as well, so I was like, that was a normal thing. So why does that happen? Think about it, right? If we all know exactly what to do, more or less like 90% of it, what is the actual thing stopping us? Persistence? You said? Resistance? Okay. What else? Insecurity?
Fear.
Fear? Fear of what?
Fear of looking like a dumbass and failing in front of everyone.
Who else has that, or a version of that?
Yeah.
Okay, most people. Unique always looks like a dumbass, anyways. I'm just kidding. He's too good looking, so you have to like take him down. Yeah.
It takes one jab.
Sleep. Yeah. So fear is basically, when it all comes down to it, is in general the number one thing that stops you, right? It stops us from getting to where we want to get to. Now, fear of what, to get more specific, that was an example, right? The fear of failure, looking a certain way in front of certain people. But if we go deeper into that, who are those people? And when I'm asking these questions, these are all rhetorical. I want you to start thinking of this for yourselves, okay? Who are the people that you're actually fearful of looking bad in front of or silly in front of when you fail?
For me, I would say it's an interesting thing, because I did this thought process, and it's like people from the past who actually don't even matter. But it's not to say logically it makes sense, but it's still there. So It still constrains me. So it's interesting.
So to go a level, and is that the same for anyone else or different? People from the past?
Yeah.
Okay. Go one level deeper. Which people from the past?
People from school, family members.
Yeah.
Those kinds of
Family, yes. How many of you family members in effect?
Yeah.
If you think, and what's a moment where you think that's held you back? Like a specific moment in time where that belief or that fear has stopped you from doing something that gets you to your goal?
I guess things like, at one stage I wanted to do like personal brand, that kind of thing, just posting online. That's held me back from that.
Okay.
Not that that's now my goal, but in the past, that's where it's held me back. When I'm like, oh, what are these people going to say that I'm doing this weird new thing?
Yeah.
Or posting about something that's not just general life. So in the past it was that. I feel like I have overcome some of them, like lived slightly differently, but traveling to certain places, maybe it's like, oh, you shouldn't go do this with these people. So
Yeah. So it's a fear of what somebody else might think, right? But actually it's not. It's actually a fear of what you think they will think. Right? It's what you think they will think about you. So what is it that you think they will think about you?
That I'm stupid or this is out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the bottom line. That's just what you think about yourself, right? On some level. Not the whole you, but a part of you, okay? So this is a really good exercise you can all do for yourself, is whenever you identify, because identifying, it's one part, right? Getting aware of whatever the thing is that's holding you back. Okay, where does that come from? A lot of you said, okay, maybe it's from people from the past, from family members. Okay, then what is the thing in your mind that you're fearful that they might say? Like, you look stupid or whatever the thing is. That's just the belief that you have about yourself, right? It's just the person is the mirror for that. It's like if you've been in a relationship or dated someone, and if it gets toxic or, you know, there's some bad dynamic, it's just that that person brought up a part of you which, you know, causes friction, right? So it's always that way. So those beliefs essentially form your identity, or part of your identity. I know you guys, you do a lot of work around the identity, right? Within TNS, which is the most important work that you can do, because you will do anything to stay consistent with your identity and who you believe you are. And if that is not in alignment fully with where you're going, it will always feel like there's a part of you fighting against yourself. So that's why it can feel like I'm pushing, I make progress. Like, you will have a lot of willpower, you will have a lot of clarity on your vision, because I've read everything that you put. You will have that direction, but then there are these certain things that will hold you back, whether it's a fear, whether it's procrastination. How many people struggle with procrastination? Okay, about half, okay. So it's these things that come up. Now, most people will just say, oh, that's just lazy, just push through. And there is a level of, yes, you need a level of discipline, obviously, right? You can't just be lazy out here. But why is that happening in the first place? Because then if you think about, how many of you played video games when you were younger? Like, did you need motivation to play a video game? No. Right? Why?
Motivation to not play it.
Yeah, exactly. I was addicted. I was completely addicted. But why is that? Dopamine, yeah. What else?
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. You like it, right? Simple. You want to do it. So there's only two reasons that you do anything. Is one, to move away from pain, and one is to move towards pleasure. Those are literally the two driving forces that it always comes down to. Is that what you say in the group? Yeah, that's it. That literally is it. So knowing that, how can you rewire yourself to get those two levers fully working towards wherever you want to go? So it just becomes automatic. So you don't have to rely on just like self-sabotaging or procrastinating to then feel motivated to work, but it can just be more consistent. How can that happen? Well, first of all, it's looking at what is that relationship, and then we can change our brain's literal neurochemistry with whatever the thing is that you want to do. But it all starts with the identity and the belief around yourself, right? So just real quick, in 15 to 30 seconds, what is your main goal? What is, not even just for life, but just of today, if you could have one outcome from today, just one thing that was changed, what would that be? First thing that comes to your mind, don't overthink it.
I'll give you an example. When I was playing games as a kid, car games, I would get the most basic car up front, and I'd spend all the money on souping up the car. And then I could only win a certain amount of races. But then when I needed to upgrade, I never had money to upgrade. And that's manifested in today, into my life and how I am with my finances and things like that. I'm rushing to do things and getting ahead. And when it comes time to actually upgrade, then I can't fly to Cape Town in 24 hours notice type of thing. And so for me, it's just removing that identity.
Yep.
And starting fresh, as if you would in a game. You could reset and just start over.
Perfect. Love it. Nice one.
I think for me it's like leaving my perfectionism out of the whole picture. I always tell myself, okay, this is good, but it's not perfect yet, so let's wait another day and wait it at the moment that it's perfect, and then eventually you just skip it. You move on.
Write these down on your notes as you say it. Just this is basically your intention, right? So if I prefer if it's not phone, but I know we don't have paper, so just do a new notes and just write down just 1 to 2 lines of what that is. You finished with that? So the perfectionism, anything you'd add?
That's the biggest boundary of getting me to the next level, because to get consistency, to get like everything that you want in life, you know where you have to go and how to follow that. And of course with like TNS and stuff like that, it's very good that we think about all these things, but it's like still like leaving that will like make it way better for me, I think, to like reach that next level.
100%. Love it.
I think for me it's validation, since I always put my self-worth on the outcome. So I think that's the biggest one.
Got it.
I think adopting an energy, like a state where I have the confidence and no like fear of loss, to where I can go up to my prospects and go up to work and like adopt an energy that they will buy from as well, and not like push back against, because I've got confidence and faith in what I'm saying essentially. So like I'm able to kind of charge the high prices and like do this kind of thing without worrying that somehow what I'm doing isn't going to be strong enough and I'm going to lose things if I don't concede. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Write these down on your notes as you say it, just so you can have this for later. Yeah.
I think for me it's getting rid of the belief that I can manage a team and that I have to do everything by myself, and that I can delegate certain tasks. So yeah, that's for me the biggest.
Okay.
For me, it's taking more risks and getting more out of my comfort zone, actually.
Okay. Cool.
For me, is I think more the confidence. I think my goal is to be the best person in my space.
Mm-hmm.
But the last couple months, everything got really, really fast, and I think I'm not also in the old state of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ahead right now.
Yep.
So that switch.
Got you. We'll talk about that one in a sec.
Yeah, what I would like to get out of the session is more confidence for sure,
Yep.
and just obliterate all fears. Yeah.
Very solid. Just obliterate all fear. Perfect.
Yeah.
Like it. That's it. Ask for what you want, right? Perfect. Cool. Nice.
For me, it would be like speed in thoughts and action. Like become faster and like, okay, this is a great idea, and then just put it into practice.
Yeah.
And I think that also comes with delegating properly. So your calendar is free, and when you have like a good idea that you can just implement immediately, so that you become like the authority in the space, basically.
Got it. Okay. Perfect. So there are some good themes. I'm just taking some notes as well for you guys. So there were some good themes around this. One of the themes was around this idea of not being good enough in some way. Like quite a few of you, that was the central thread. It's the ultimate root limiting belief for all people, specifically men, and it's that attachment of self-worth to a physical outcome, right? Or achieving something tangible. Now, the reality is that your self-worth in this 3D world and in a marketplace, it is determined by what you provide. Like value-wise, your worth is valued at that level, right? Like in a business. But then from like a perspective, you could say a more spiritual perspective or a higher perspective, it actually has nothing to do with that. So it's like this dichotomy that we deal with, right? If anyone's like gone more into that world, it's like this feeling of worth attached to doing, but then it's also not actually true from a deeper level. So how do we navigate those two things? That's a really big piece of it, right? Because a few of you mentioned this kind of like underlying scarcity or lack, between how you show up. That's where this comes from. It comes from this root belief, okay? Question though, how do you know it's true? How do you know it's true?
Like that you're not good enough, you mean?
Yeah.
We don't know it's true. Just sort of my own assessment.
Yeah, if you believe it.
If you get feedback, it tells you that.
Yeah, what kind of feedback?
Like let's say you do something, you don't feel like you performed in the right way, you get the feedback that you didn't get the results you wanted, and therefore you're not good enough.
Yeah. But what about when you do something and you get the feedback and it does go your way?
Yeah.
Does that make you then believe you're good enough? Or do you actually ignore that and focus on when you don't get the result?
Yeah, probably there's more self-criticism than there is self-acknowledgement.
Yeah. Does anyone else have that?
100%.
Yeah. So everyone's nodding their head. So it's like if we go down to first principles, if we understand why these things happen, that's already half of the battle, which is understanding why. Because when there's unclarity about things, it feels like, okay, cool, but how do I actually change this freaking thing? And I've got more into just the actual understanding first, because once you understand how something works, then you have this more confidence on how you can actually change it. So when it comes to that, not being good enough, when I get feedback and maybe someone says, shows me I'm not good enough, I believe that. But then when it's the other way around, I don't focus on that. Why is that? It's because simply that's how the mind is wired. So the mind is wired to focus on what is wrong because it's a survival mechanism. But it's your job to train your focus. There's this great old story of, some of you guys will know this, it was like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates being interviewed. And the interviewer asks them, what's the most important thing that you attribute your success to? And they're both doing something. They look up, they say focus, and then they go back to doing what they're doing, right? So what you focus on is ultimately what you will create. Now, obviously, in a work context, it doesn't need too much understanding, but it's also on a mental and internal context. What is the focus? Because you have about 160,000 thoughts every single day. 160,000. Most of them are unconscious, you're not aware of them, because most of your mind is subconscious. But what are the ones that you actually notice coming up every single day? First of all, because these are essentially your focus. For you guys, what are some of those recurring thoughts? When you think about limiting beliefs or limitation, what's a thought that goes around your mind again and again? Anyone think of one?
I had an experience this
when
week.
you answer, could you pass the mic?
I had an experience this week where I had been talking to the guys about this M&A deal that we were trying to put together. And when talking to my wife about it, she didn't understand she was trying to over-prepare me for this meeting. And when I just kind of locked in and arrived at the meeting, and I sat with the owners of the company, and they built a big business, and we managed to pull the deal across the table with a big budget, and it's aligned with everything I've always wanted to do. Leaving that meeting, I still felt like, well, why me? Like, when am I going to get caught out? How am I getting into rooms like this? How is my proximity at the level that it is, without the hard work that I've done, without lighting the match and things like that. So I'd say that's similar to what George was saying, how you kind of give yourself more criticism than acknowledgement.
Yeah. So anyone else experience that? Where you achieve something and then you think, wait, why me? Like, do I actually deserve this? Right? How does that happen? A few of you guys, I think you mentioned this, right? When you've grown a lot. So there's always your identity on one side, and then there's your physical reality, right? Your external reality, everything. Now, they're always going like this. So for you, in your example, you said things have moved fast quickly, you've grown a lot quickly. And then suddenly, what happens in your mind? Like, what questions start going through your mind?
Good question, to be honest.
So the reason I'm asking this, and it can be challenging sometimes to think, like, what even does go in my mind? I don't think about it. It is a process of awareness. So you guys do journaling in your reflecting? So the reflection is the best thing that you can do. It's something that I've been getting a lot more people on, because we spend so much time just doing or consuming when actually it's like very little time looking back. And that's when you really learn, is when you reflect. And it's a process that I started doing even more just this year, because you learn not just what went badly, but also what went well, so you can start identifying patterns. And pattern recognition is everything. It's success in business. If you can recognize a pattern, if you can then utilize that pattern or then create a pattern, you're a freaking billionaire. But it starts with recognizing these patterns inside of yourself, right? Because then we can sort of understand how do we change it. So anything coming up for you?
Yeah, I think if I think about it now, I think it's always go forward,
Mm-hmm.
instead of thinking, oh, where am I right now?
Yeah.
So it's also a good eye opener that I must reflect more.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking is, okay, I'm here right now, and how the fuck why I'm here? Like,
yeah.
That's what more I'm thinking. Like, okay, and now I have to live this life, and I really enjoy it, but in my head I'm still there, like, oh, I must go for this goal, but I'm already here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need to think more about this. Yeah.
Can I add something to this? Of course. So he grew really fast. He was like, I think 20x since you joined, right? And at one moment he had his record month, and then we set new goals for the next month, and it was less than the month he already achieved. And I was like, why are you doing this? And he was just acting like his old self. Like, oh, to him it was a lot of money, but to his new self it was just the minimum. It's like, I already achieved this, so why do I go lower if I already achieved this? And that was him stepping back in his old self, while I invited him to see it from like, you already did this, like what is possible and where can you go?
Yes.
Yeah.
So remember how I said there's your identity and then there's your external results, right? That's called, this is one of the most common things I see with guys I work with, and I also just went through this myself growing a lot last year. It's called identity lag, which is basically when your identity is just literally lagging behind where you physically are.
Yeah.
So this is, and now with some of the people I work with who are at, you know, doing crazy numbers and have huge companies, I've seen this happen on biggest levels of losing 9-figure businesses twice over from this exact phenomenon that we're talking about. So this is probably one of the most painful but valuable problems you can solve in yourself, because once you do it once and you understand not just, okay, you did it, but how it works, then you can see it coming next time, because it will keep happening because you'll keep growing, but it's just that you'll then be able to catch it quicker, right? So the identity lags behind. So part of you is probably when you, leading up to that month, you were probably just going for it. You were probably just executing, like you look a little bit tired right now, I'm just gonna, you know, you look like you've been through it, right? So you're probably just going. So you probably didn't even have a chance to even think about anything else apart from just doing, I would imagine, for most of that time, right?
Yeah.
So essentially, part of your conscious mind is switched off. You're not questioning like, is this perfect, is this right, or this is wrong? You're just going.
Yeah.
So there's a benefit to that, which it enables, which is just, you don't overthink, and then you can just execute and move quickly. But then you get to the point and it's like, whoa, I'm actually here. Is this actually, like, it feels maybe a little unfamiliar. It's new territory, right? It's different to what you've known up until, how old are you?
21.
Okay, damn, you're super young, that's crazy. But it's different to what you've known, right? And I had this as well. When I was at university, I left at about 21. I was meant to go and do investment banking, did economics at university, and decided I just couldn't do it. Went and started working from my parents' shed. And I just worked. Like all I did was just work, grind to build my agency. And it was coming from mostly pain. Like my motivator was just like, everyone was asking me now, like, what's your why? What's your vision? What's your purpose? My purpose was not live in a shed. That was my purpose back then. But then I did it. And the day I got there, I moved into my place. My parents dropped me off and I'm standing there looking out at the London skyline thinking like, if this is what success is, why do I not feel like I deserve this success? And the reason why is because I hadn't actually become that person internally. I was operating from lack. I was operating from pushing instead of operating from wholeness and actually being pulled to where I want to go. Okay, this is honestly one of the biggest things that you can learn is like push and pull motivation. The reality is you're always going to have both. You're always going to have a bit of both. But when it comes to the push, everyone in here will be a culprit of this. I definitely have been, and it's something I've shifted a lot in myself, is using push, because you can grind, you can focus, you can, you know, slam some coffee and some nicotine. But then at a certain point, you're just going to be like, there's so much pain associated to the growth that you then think, well, okay, I've got to this goal, whatever goal you hit, but then I don't want to hit another goal because to get to this point was already this painful, right? So subconsciously, that's why you set a lower goal than what you already hit.
Yeah.
Like, this is all happening subconsciously. So that's part of why it happens. So then, okay, what's the solution to this? The solution is to get, first of all, so clear on not just who you are from an identity, but why you're going where you're going, and really, and this is the work that you do within this, I know. So it's having this on a deep level so that you're also really pulled towards where you're going, because pull motivation is limitless. It never runs out. And so this is why having not just a big goal, but a clear goal and the why is so key. This is like, if there's anything you spend your time on, it's just reconnecting to that. So for you, question, what is your big why and your big goal?
I'm gonna add something on this.
Sure.
When I first started, the business, my goal was more like, okay, I'm growing up without a father. My mother did everything for me, and that was my drive. And when I hit that goal, like first 10, 20K month, I think, okay, I have achieved it. And a month ago, something was okay. Was thinking, okay, what's the goal now? Like I have achieved, I have the drive is like gone, not gone, but you know what I mean. And now it's more think like, okay, why I do this, and now it's more okay. I really enjoy when I can help people with their businesses, but also with the life, and got a meaning for other people. And I think now at this moment that is more the motivation than like the pain before.
Yes. This is why, by the way, I think most people here in the online space, is that fair? Most people, you guys are running online businesses. Mm-hmm. This is why you see this trend of like people starting a business and then they move into some kind of coaching. It's not just because it's like an easier way to make money, but it's because it actually feels good to, like, if you're actually helping people, right? So the reason you do everything is because of the meaning that you give it. Meaning is everything. So before you had that certain meaning and that why to get to that 10, 20K. And that was exactly the same with me. Like when I got to that level, it was like, well, you have all your own needs met. So then where's the drive, right? What do I do now? When you can find something that is beyond yourself and a bigger purpose, and not just like mentally say it, but like actually feel it, like, and know that it's true to you, that's where you start tapping into that pool. And a lot of you guys have that here. Like you have a family now. I mean, maybe you can speak to that for a minute. Have you noticed a change in your drive since being a father for 12 days?
Yeah, I think I definitely feel like I was missing the drive and all those kinds of things. So at the end of last year, and you want to have a baby, so your wife falls pregnant, and now you're like, cool, we've achieved the first part, now you have to wait 9 months. And then that 9 months is incredibly long, and then the boy's born, and you expect to have this rush of emotions, but instead you kind of go into, I need to protect and provide for these guys and make sure they're cool. You start thinking differently about how you use your time, you start thinking about like prioritizing differently, so what deals am I taking on, what deals am I not taking on. It's overwhelming pressure that's kind of settles, but you don't mind it because you kind of coat it as a drive, as part of the ambition. So I know that I write my son notes on the notes app every now and then, and one line that stood out to me was like, hey, I don't want you to, or when you eventually read these, you struggle to understand why your dad went through all these different things and the stresses and all those kinds of things, because you won't know him like that. And so I work my arse off to make sure you don't have to go through the same pain type of thing. So that's a big drive. He's my mirror. It's deep actually.
Yeah. You see that? But you can see how when he's saying that, he's not just saying that from his mind, right? It's not like he just wrote it down on a sheet of paper and was like, this is my why. You can see the emotion inside of him, right? This is the key. The emotion is the driver of everything. The emotion, that force inside of you is 1,000,000 times stronger than just saying it in your head. And you can see that in him, right? That's the shift. I love it. Do you want to share? I would love everyone to just share, this will be really valuable for you, and note this one down as well. A bit about just your why, and ideally if you can connect it to something that is outside of yourself. If you haven't got it fully formed, by the way, it's fine, but just the reason why is because when you can start, whether you're already at the point where you have all of your needs met or not, if you're not there yet, trust me, when you get to it, you'll go through what he just went through and I just went through and everyone else will go through. So this will help you. And if you are there right now, this is what's going to help you to tap into that pull motivation. Okay?
So my why was always, in the first place, like I never ever felt that like I was going to be happy working a regular office job. Not by looking at all the people that already made it and everything, but I just felt that deep inside of me. And I always said like, okay, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to do that and travel the world, because I want to live in different places. I want to see everything. I want to experience everything. So then, of course, like also when I hit my goals and everything that I wrote down, because I do a lot of journaling, a lot of meditation, I really believe that helped me to get to those goals. But then, what you said, like after you're reaching them, you always want bigger goals and everything like that. Then I wanted to provide for my family. That was my why, basically, of course, like giving them everything they needed, taking them wherever I was traveling and fly them out to places I was going, to see them happy and to share those moments, because I truly believe like memories are way more important than materialistic stuff, which of course everybody experienced, like making money, spending money is fun, but I wanted a bigger purpose. But now as well, like, okay, now I'm also at this level where I want to have like way more purpose in everything that I'm doing. So not just having a business to make money and provide for my family and doing everything like that, but also like the actual work I'm doing must be some sort of value and some sort of like purpose by actually helping people.
Yeah.
Not just selling them my service or selling them whatever I am good at, but actually help people. And if that is like sometimes totally for free, I will do that, because that gives me some sort of purpose to actually help people.
Yeah.
And if that can also provide some sort of like financial location and time freedom, what I always say is like bringing that to the people I love, then I'm happy. So that's my why right now.
I love that. Where are you in that right now? Are you doing that right now? Is it early stages? Where are you at?
It's because I place them in those three, of course. Like I always had the location freedom and enough financial freedom to travel and to do whatever I wanted, because I was just running my agency since 2017, a long time ago. So I knew pretty fast, like, okay, I know what I need to provide for myself and maybe my girlfriend or whatever, but that was enough. And then I was like, okay, now I have location freedom, but where is the actual time freedom? I was putting all my time, all my effort in everything. And I was super selfish by not giving myself the time and freedom, but also like to the people I actually did it for, because I spend more time on my job and on my business instead of time with my family and the people I love. So that made me rethink, like, okay, maybe I need to turn it around and think like, okay, how can I do something to make all of that align, not for myself, but actually for my why. And for how I should do that is, I think, like, yeah, structuring it down with also the things we're doing right now.
I love it. I love it. Note that down on your notes. Just going to talk a bit about that for a minute, about freedom. How many of you have freedom as a really high value for yourself? Something at the top. Okay. So this was my highest value for a very long time. And I had that because I felt like I didn't have freedom, right? So I wanted to create it. Time, location, you get sold the dream, right? It's when you come into this world. And then I'm 31 years old, right? And that was a top value for me for up until this time. And then I was at an event in December and we were talking about that. We were talking about freedom. And I had the realization that there are certain things in life where when you pursue them, they run away from you. They almost elude you. It's kind of like happiness, right? It's like, how do you get happiness? It's like this thing, it's like a state, but it's really a byproduct of something, right? You feel happy when maybe you provide for your family, or when you have a great workout, or when you're with your girlfriend or something, maybe you feel happy, however you define that. And it's actually, I realized this was a huge shift for me. I realized it's the same thing with freedom. You feel free when X. It's actually when you fulfill a deeper value that you have. And so I intentionally shifted that recently, because I had this whole really strong narrative in my identity of like this freedom, and I you know, like, I'm sure many of you had this, right? You didn't want to do a 9-to-5 job, so you're like, fuck that, I'm gonna go and create my own thing, no one's gonna tell me what to do, and it's a very strong motivator, right? You're like, probably no one here likes being told what to do. I'm still the same to this day, which is fine. But then, okay, you achieve the freedom, but then what? Right? Then what? That's the question. It's that next step. So that's when you get to that point where you think, I don't really know what I'm driven by now. And I realized for me it was because I was still unconsciously pursuing freedom, instead of that just being the byproduct of me fully expressing my most authentic self, living in alignment with my vision and my purpose. And when I do those things, I'm free. So it sounds simple, but this was a game changer. Probably from last year, that was top 5 biggest breakthroughs for me, because I realized that if I'm just living in alignment with my purpose, then I'm free, and I just have that. And yeah, like now I feel more free than ever. And even when there's times where, for example, one of the things I did recently is I implemented a bit more structure into my day, and I used to have this relationship with freedom on one side and structure on the other, and it's almost like they're fighting against each other, right? But then once I reminded myself that, okay, the reason I have this structure is because it's in alignment with my whole mission and purpose, then actually it is freedom. It's like Jocko Willink, right? Discipline is freedom. Yeah, he coined that term, and it's exactly right. But it's discipline, but discipline when it's used in the right way. It's not discipline just for discipline's sake. It's discipline when it's in alignment with where you're going and why. So I just wanted to share that one with you off the back of freedom. For me, massive changer. But yeah, please share.
My biggest motivator in the beginning was I always saw what I didn't want in my family. So basically, they always were very negative. They always regretted not taking action. So I always just knew, okay, I just don't want what they have. So I just kind of feared becoming normal. Now, what is normal? I didn't know exactly. So I just tried to do everything not to be normal. But obviously, normal, you don't know what it is. So I just worked very, very, very hard to figure out, okay, what do I want to do? And obviously, I started studying and doing all of those things. And I thought, I'm going to be a professor, make medicine, heal people. But then I figured out that still felt too normal to me, which is then the next mountain is always bigger. So, okay, I already am a professor, but it's not big enough. It's too boring. And then was like having actual like the freedom to basically what you said, to be your authentic self, to be time freedom, location freedom, to actually help people, not even from monetary sense of things. So I kind of saw that, okay, if I earn money to provide my service, I lose the joy in it. So I just want to know that I can provide value, even not for the sake of getting money in return, but I truly enjoy it. But what I caught myself do, for example, now as well, is that I sacrifice my authentic self in the pursuit of, let's say, creating this freedom. So I sacrifice, let's say, me, just to get that goal. And now I'm trying to kind of get that back, essentially. Like, who is that me? So in the beginning, when you're a child, you're kind of scared, afraid of what people would think of your authentic self. And now I'm kind of trying to get that back, like fully embrace, that version of myself.
What is your most authentic self?
So I think in general, I just really love like nature and exploration. I've basically been a nerd of animals and science and that stuff, and I really love like literally just diving and look at fucking beetles and stuff. But I kind of just put that aside in terms of like getting the business. I wanted to chase that freedom, build that future, not be normal, and then I just ignored that because it isn't productive, right? So I just looked at the lens of, okay, what does contribute to literally growing my business, what doesn't, and if it doesn't, just put it aside. And now I'm just trying to get like the not so productive things back.
Yeah.
I think there the real joy is in combination with providing value for actually helping people.
There's seasons of life, right? There's some seasons where you do just sacrifice, you put things to the side, and you just need to work, right? You just need to get after it. You just need to go through that season of pain to build yourself up. It'd be like going in the army back in the day, right? We have no suffering today, right? And I would say if you don't suffer intentionally, then you'll suffer not from your own choice, right? So you're going to suffer unintentionally. So it's good to go through that stage. Then the question is, okay, how do you start? And then it's really like almost like a privilege, right? To get to a point where now it's like, okay, you can actually start looking at these other elements where it's, say, how can I find the joy? How can I find the thing that I love to do? And it's such a privilege, but I believe if you have the privilege of being in that position, then you actually should really focus on that, because by becoming more of your authentic self, that's actually how you'll be able to grow more, provide more, be more valuable, right? Because it's where this pull comes in. So there's a lot of ways you can do it. You can do it obviously outside of work with things that you love to do. You can also do it inside of work. And this is just from my own experience. When you can, if you can combine it with what you do for work, it's amazing. Because I think that's the gold standard, because then there's not really a difference between work and just you living. Like for me, this is work, but it literally is like not this is just what I would do anyway, You know what I mean? I literally would just decide to do this if I could. It's like, this is the most fun thing I could possibly do on a Saturday. But it's also work, right? It's also contributing to the goal. And it's a process of self-inquiry, clear enough to be able to do that. That authenticity is, by the way, whatever you decide to do, that's what makes people drawn to you. And it doesn't matter about what you do, it's just you living authentically. That's really the key, because that's what every single person most deeply craves for. And if you think about the people that you admire, right, even if you disagree with some of the things that they say, it's probably just because they're actually living authentically. And that's really how. It's a process of taking steps to it. But when you have it, then all of the other limiting beliefs, the self-worth, the what are people going to say, all these kind of things, they don't matter. Because you're just actually just being you. And when you're being you, you then feel comfortable enough in yourself to just be, right? And that's probably one of the best feelings you can have, when you're just actually comfortable in yourself. And I can say, I lived most of my life not comfortable in my own skin. I was very uncomfortable in my own skin. I'd go, like if I was here like 5 years ago, I'd be like, oh, what does this person think of me, or how am I coming across? Yeah, all of these things. And it would rob me from just being in the moment. Whereas now all I focus on is literally, how can I live in alignment? How can I just show up and serve? And this is where that contribution element comes to it, right? Having that outward focus, because then, and this is, by the way, like what they did with everyone who's gone deep into hypnosis, which we'll get into in a second. Mike Tyson's a great example. He was hypnotized since he was 13 to be, Mike Tyson. He would tell him, you don't exist, you're formless. All that exists is the goal and destroying the other opponent. So when he got in there, do you think he had nerves when he got into the ring? Like, heck no. Or he's just like focused on that goal, and that's all that matters. And it's the same thing with public speaking or presenting yourself online. You think, okay, how's this going to come across? What's somebody going to say? Or whatever the fear is. But then once you've got clarity on who you are, your alignment, your purpose, and where you're going, suddenly it doesn't matter how it's perceived, because you're doing it because it's what you want to do. And that's the purpose, because you know the reason why. And so it was the same for me. When I started, like literally 1 year ago today, it's really cool because Unique started TNS 1 year ago. I started basically what I'm doing just over 1 year ago. So we were both here in Cape Town, we were living together, and we were both just like going after it. We like didn't really know what we were doing, but we were just like, just trying to we were just like, let's just make it happen. And it was a really just great, it was amazing looking back at it, right? We were just going for it. And I look back at those days so fondly because we were just going after that purpose, that goal. And we both, and I remember being in Bali actually. Do you remember that? Actually, was it in Bali when we had that? When you told me about making the change? That was.
I think when we did the podcast.
In the podcast, yeah. You want to tell that story real quick? I think it's a good one.
Well, I think it wasn't necessarily this idea, but it was the idea to pursue something bigger.
Yeah.
Remember, like it was.
But it's that insight is the valuable part.
Yeah, I think we went through a pretty similar journey, right? We had the agency, we started working on the agency together, and at one moment, I think the realization you had as well, it's like, okay, now we make this money, and that's fun. We solved our money problems, but what is next? And to me, I just always, 10 years ago already, I felt like, okay, I want to help people. Like my first clothing brand, the slogan was, be someone who inspires others with your own actions. That was like the slogan. So it was always I was doing these quotes when I was 17 years old. I was posting them on my Instagram. So it was always there. But you got sidetracked by, okay, I need to make this money and this is what I need to do. It's it comes from a place of need. And if I go back in my story, I didn't want to have the same financial stress I experienced in my family. So I started working and working and working. And at one moment I was like, okay, fine, I have this money. But what can I actually do? How can I help my younger self to pursue their mission, to actually contribute to the world? Yeah. And I think that moment was just let's just fucking do it. And last year when we were here, it's just okay. I don't know how I'm going to do it, and we had limiting beliefs and self-doubt, just like everyone else. But if the reason is big enough, you will find a way, and that's what I found this year.
Stick that on a t-shirt. That's the quote. Right? That's exactly what it is, right? When the reason is big enough, you'll find the way. you'll always have some kind of fear, some kind of limitation will always come up at a new level. Every level, there's another devil, right? It will always happen. But what is courage? Courage is to feel the fear and do it anyway. But how do you do it anyway? You do it when you have a freaking big enough reason why, right? There's something outside of you that you truly believe in. And what is confidence? Confidence is just belief. That's all it is. It's when you believe in yourself. That's really it. So if you can find something or a part of you to believe in, that will take, that is what, in every single area of your life, it will transform it. In sales, if you guys do sales, what are they buying? They're buying you. They're buying the certainty that you can help them do whatever you say you can help them do, right? That's all they're buying. In your dating, in your relationships, in your mind, it just all comes down to that belief. And people ask me all the time, what's the best thing for me personally since I started doing all this hypnosis? It's literally just that I know I can do anything that I decide to put my mind to. And that sounds just like a saying, you know, like a quote on a podcast, but that truly is the belief. Doesn't mean I believe I'm like invincible, but it means that whatever I choose to put my mind to, I know I can do, because I understand how this process works and how to influence it. And this is all that matters, because everything else will follow. I love that story, man. Damn, it's crazy how much has changed in a year, right?
There's levels to it as well, because when I lived with you, like, you inspired the hell out of me. Because it was like, okay, we need to record a VSL, and I was like, oh, I need to go upstairs because no one is there, and I need to have the perfect lighting. And this guy is like, oh, I need to record a VSL. Guys, can you be quiet? He puts down the camera, softbox. He's just recording it while everyone is doing their shit in the house, and he's just doing it immediately. And
that's still my VSL today, by the way. I haven't even updated
but you did it in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant with like thought to like speed the process, like how fast you can go from thought to actual implementation. That's key. It's like, and doing it with conviction. And I always say like confidence is a feeling, but conviction is a choice. And I've seen it in you. Maybe you weren't that confident yet, but you had conviction that it was going to happen. And that's infectious as well. Like you see it, you experience the same thing as someone being confident.
Yes, it's an energy, right, that you feed off. It's like whenever you do in-person stuff like this, why is it so much more effective? Like, what is it actually about it? It's your conviction level inside goes up, right? In whatever it is inside yourself, something in yourself gets touched and you go like, I'm gonna go and do it. And that's what it's always the same way. It's like, why does that always happen? It's like, okay, if you can understand why that happens, then you can do it on yourself. That's the cool thing about this, right? And going back to that time, the only reason I was able to act so fast again is because where I was going, who I believed I was like, yeah, I'm like, not in an arrogant way, but like I'm really fucking good at this. And I'm here to actually genuinely help people. And it was my mentor like 5-6 years ago said this to me. He said, and this was when I was thinking about first posting content. And I was literally like, I can't get over the fear of I'd have to go into the woods, like the forest, to record a piece of content. That's how scared I was about I literally couldn't even be like, I was living up like my family home, I couldn't even do it there. And then I said this to him one day, he's a Russian guy, and he goes, if you have the cure to cancer, who are you to deprive somebody from it? And I was like, such an interesting way of thinking about it. Because if you have something to actually give someone and a way to actually help them, who are you to not do that, right? It's not about you, it's about them. If you really think about it, it's in the same way with you. Like, it's so cool that you've just been through this, because like I can imagine the amount you think about yourself now versus 13 days ago or before, it's probably different, right? Because you have like a different, it's just like a different focus, a different reason why. I think as a man, as like a provider, that like core masculine part of you, that's when you feel like the most confident, because there's purpose behind it, there's intention behind it. Anything else you wanted to add to that?
I don't think so. There was one thought that came up when you said like, what were you saying? Like the speed of implementation. The Mike Tyson thing.
Yes.
Just a thought came in my head. I was just thinking, I don't know why I was thinking it. I was just like, imagine a lion thinking like, oh, should I get this pre like my food, or should I just wait? Maybe I'm not gonna get it. Like, maybe he's gonna get me. It's like, it doesn't make sense. If you have a goal, which is like, you're fueled by hunger because you need to eat and you need to fulfill your purpose, whatever that hunger might be.
Yeah.
I just thought like, Mike Tyson is not thinking about, oh, how am I going to do this? No, I am going to do this. He is like the one I'm going to catch. And I think we should do more of that. It's like when we have a target and we know this is like what we want, just go after it relentlessly without thinking too much.
It's like a lion doesn't need to roar as well to tell you it's a lion, because its self-image of itself is I am a lion, right? It's like, I don't need to prove this to anyone. This is just, if I want to go and kill this gazelle, that's what I'll go and do, right? It's a decision to go and do that.
And the same with Mike Tyson. I'm fucking Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I'm gonna go bite some dude's ear off. That's when hypnosis goes wrong, by the way. People always ask me about that. His hypnotist actually died. That's actually what happened, yeah, before that. He actually died. So I think he like didn't turn it off or something. Anyway.
Let loose, like Frankenstein.
Yeah, basically. Okay, cool. You next on chess?
It's funny you say about like the fear of getting out there and like what other people might think of you in a really practical way, like when you're filming content and things, because like I've noticed that when I first started doing sales calls and like working on that side of thing, I didn't want anyone to hear what I was saying, which is like really funny because inherently it's supposed to be something that the other person is like listening very intently to and taking on board. But I didn't want anyone apart from the prospect hearing what I was saying. I felt really awkward about that. But now I feel that much less so, but it's an interesting point.
Why do you think you feel it less now compared to before?
I think maybe there's been enough feedback now that I know that what I'm saying is likely to be at least the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not going to feel like, oh my God, he said that, what an idiot. You know what I mean? Yeah, in terms of the why, actually very vividly, I used to live in a van in a park in Bristol, in the southwest of England. And one time my van had broken down and it was really cold and all my water had frozen. And so I was like, you know, I was in my overdraft. I couldn't afford to fix the van. And I literally was like, man, I never want to be this broke again. Like this is it. I'm at the kind of the bottom here. And but then it was really like a sense of pulling, like acting out of force, trying to get out of that situation. Like, I need to find a job. I need to make some money. And that's how I got into sales. Actually, was like I just stopped a guy in the street and asked if I could sell what he was selling in the street as well. So, but it was very much like forceful action into it. But now that why and always kind of transitioned into a lot of the people that were there for me during that time, and just generally throughout my life, like family, but also friends and their families, to be like, oh, come and stay at ours if you ever want to, or blah blah blah. Like, you know, we'll look after you, hosting us, that kind of thing. That's really that community element that I want to be able to provide for people in the future, as well as my own family, so that there's that like safety net and kind of comfort around. So that's really how things are shifting now.
I want to just build on what you just said. You use the word comfort, and ultimately, I'm sure you talk about the comfort zone in your calls, right? Like, the way I think about that is, right now in this moment, you're in your comfort zone. Think about it. You're physically comfortable where you are. You're probably mentally, most of you are probably like pretty relaxed right now. You're feeling like pretty good. So you're in a zone of comfort, right? Now, you'll do everything that you can subconsciously to always stay within that zone. That's why it always feels uncomfortable to get outside of the comfort zone, right? But you also know that everything that you want in life to pursue is outside of this comfort zone. It's in the unknown. So what is the way that we can shortcut that? I'm always looking at how can we just create shortcuts. And this is where you can do this psychologically. And this is where the hypnosis part comes in. And, you know, for example, when we did your one, you know, you listen to that every day. There are parts of that where you'll feel probably a pain and a discomfort, right? The reason we do that and I create this pain and discomfort with where you currently are is because when you don't feel comfortable where you are, but again, remember, chosen suffering versus unchosen suffering, right? That's when you will act without thinking. That's when you will act with speed. That's when you will just do it. So when you're in a van and you know, your water's frozen, you don't have any money, it's like you're not comfortable, right? You're very uncomfortable. And you just walk up to some dude on the street and start selling. Like, think about that. How probably out of character was that for you to do since before that, right? It's probably a very different way of acting, I'd imagine, because you were so uncomfortable in that situation, right? So knowing that, and this is what I see, like with now people who are really far in their career and their success, they have that same problem of that comfort zone, and then they can't get themselves to act, right? Because they have so much physical, like they have everything and more than they could possibly want. So it's like, what do? You need to create a new zone, a new identity, a new version of yourself where the current version of yourself now is actually just really uncomfortable, but it's chosen. That's the difference. It's chosen, okay? And that's what we're going to do today. It's actually to, and you can do that, and it's not making it up. It's just basically bringing the future to the present of like what happens if you do stay here, and like having these kind of conversations with yourself. How is that for you? Because you've been doing this consistently for a period of time. You know what I'm talking about here?
Well, you just sparked a thought, because I'm listening to this hypnosis every single morning, right? But what you do in a hypnosis, you first remind someone of what they don't want and the limiting beliefs they have, and then you build from there, right? So who you can be and who you need to become to get there. What I did is I removed that piece after like 1 month that reminded me of the limiting beliefs I had. I removed that piece. I started listening to that one over and over. Then I listened back to the original one, and I was like, what the fuck? I literally could not remember all the limiting beliefs that were in the beginning of the hypnosis. Because everything after that was like everything but that, like the limiting beliefs. So it was a crazy realization that if you just remind yourself on who you want to become and the positive things, you'll forget about all the negative things. And that was a crazy insight. But yeah, it has been life-changing.
What was one of the limiting beliefs? Let's see if he can remember. He's like, So imagine if you just forgot your limiting beliefs. How helpful would that be?
I think I didn't forget them. I just wasn't thinking about them anymore.
Yeah.
So if I would do my best to actually think about them, probably I could remember all of them. But when I listened to them, I was like, was this my limiting belief? I was like, oh, it's not a limiting belief anymore. It's like I never think about this anymore.
That's how you know when it's changed, by the way. It's when you look back and you say, who was this for? Like, who was that guy? I don't even remember that guy. Right? And I can imagine, like, most of you where you are now, just probably 1 year ago, you probably dreamed of being where you are right now. Like, we were talking about this, like, this didn't exist 1 year ago. This was just a vision, and it was execution. And now this is a physical manifestation of it, right? But then it's like, okay, what's the next step? And this is what happens, right? You make the progress, and then it's great, but then you stop doing the things that got you to that point in the first place, right? We've all been guilty of this. And then this is it. It's just going through these same steps again. And this is why I say this stuff we're talking about today, it's literally just every level we basically repeat. So what's that next for you? What's that next level now where you want to get to?
There are so many things that are on my vision, but I need to be careful that I don't focus on too many things at the same time. That I'm not going too broad, too fast. So for now, it's just my main focus has been and is still just to create the most valuable environment for people who want to grow. And I will like sacrifice profit for it, I will sacrifice revenue for it. It just needs to be the best platform out there. And that's still my main focus. Yeah, I don't know, I just wanted to make it the biggest platform, like the self-development platform. And
those are different things though.
what do you mean?
One is focusing on making it the best, and one is focusing on making it the biggest. I know how they connect, but I'm challenging you here because they are, in a way, they are different intentions at the same time.
As big as it can get while still keeping the quality. That's why we're rejecting guys to not come in, because I'm like, okay, this is not a fit for the guys who are inside, and I don't want to sacrifice the experience for everyone who is inside by taking on someone who I can make money on, basically. So I still want to make it the biggest, but on like the condition to keep the quality as high as I possibly can.
In an example like that where you turn someone away, what was the reason?
It can be personality, like someone is very skeptical and maybe doesn't really believe but just want to try, and I don't know, we all know, like I don't believe in trying, I believe in committing. If you do something, you do it with everything you got. And if I already see something in, like it's mainly personality. Someone can make a lot of money, but it's not a fit personal, like on a personal level. I would say like, this is just not the community for you.
And what would their response be to that?
Fine. It's not that they are very invested, they just want to try it, so it's not like...
See, I would challenge that there. I would challenge that, and the reason why is because maybe that's where they are now, but what happens if they did take that step and they got into the community and that was exactly the thing that changed them?
Yeah, I like to believe that I can see if someone will become a fit. Like I think we have multiple examples of like, just like Niels for example, like he came in and I was like, okay, we need to work on this, like we need to change a lot of beliefs he has, but I believed in him as a person and I liked his personality. And I just need to be careful that the culture fit. The same as in a company, you don't hire just anyone because you need to be careful if the culture stays like how you want it to be and for everyone to be like, oh, this is like why I come here. It's like a frequency, it's a feeling. And if someone is very like, complaining all the time or whatever it might be, it can be very negative for the rest as well. And I'm very careful with the culture.
I agree. I think that's how you build a great thing. My only question for you is, what's the priority? Is it making it, because you said both, right? And in your mind, it's like, if there's these different goals, then it's always that's what's gonna create, by the way, that overthinking. Because you're gonna, it's like, okay, let's say we make this piece of content, okay, but then what goal is it actually fulfilling? This is just an example.
Yeah. So, like, to give you an example, we're creating the app right now, which is mass market. Everyone can join, so I can make an impact, I can make it very big. And the people who funnel through, who actually are fit for the community, they can join the inner circle. So I can still make an impact on literally the whole world by the app, because anyone can join. So I can still have the impact on as many people as I can. And when someone changes, maybe that guy who wasn't a fit, he can now change because he used the app, he saw the videos, he did the things, he put in the work, and now he comes back, he's like, whoa, you changed my life for the good, like I want to join this inner circle. And I'm like, okay, now you're ready. It's like having this level of exclusivity and not just like anyone can join is a big part of the brand, I guess.
Why do you want that?
Because I think it's a part of the experience. It's like you want to be surrounded by guys who inspire you and not people who drain you. And I've been in a community and I was listening to like a old 54-year-old woman who was complaining about their marriage, and I was like, I want to build my fucking business. I don't want to listen to this. So I was like, when I do this, I will be very careful who I let in, and I will protect this culture with everything I got, but still with the mission to help as many people as I can with the things that help me so much.
Love it, man. Okay, great. You next? We'll finish these shares. For yourselves, note these down as you're doing it, because it's good to have a reference for these parts.
I think for me the why was always freedom as well, because when I had those side jobs when I was doing school, I think I've literally had like 20 or 22 side jobs, because every 2 months I was just switching from side job to side job because I just hated to work for a boss. And then friends of mine were just working for 5 or 6 years at a supermarket, and I was just like, how can you enjoy that? And so for me it was always the freedom and working for myself, have my own goals instead of working for someone else's goals. That was always my why. And I think what Yannick said as well was just building the agency to pay the bills, and then you came to a certain point that you can pay the bills, and then you were like, okay, what's next? Because I remember when I came back from Bali and I had my first 10K month, and it was for me the end goal. Like, when I was maybe 30 or 40 years old, that was the end goal for me. And then I came back from Bali and I was like, okay, what's next? So that's the thing for me. What always was my why.
And is that still your why?
The freedom.
Yeah.
Still, but I think now also making an impact, because what I miss with my agency is making an impact. Because since I came back from Bali, I didn't have the drive anymore. Still doing the work, but not really enjoying it, just purely from discipline instead of purely enjoying what I'm doing.
And where are you in that process now, about finding that pull towards what you do?
Well, my vision was always, when I started it was like getting 3 freelance jobs and then start doing e-commerce again. But now I have 15 clients, so it's getting a bit out there. But now I'm thinking about doing e-commerce again and then delegating my agency. So a bit of the same process as what Yannick was doing. And that was always the reason why I joined TNS as well, because Yannick was doing what I wanted to do as well.
Love it. Amazing. Note that down in your notes.
So for me, my why in the first place it was of course freedom. I had like these side jobs and I was working in a supermarket, and I just felt like there was way more to life. So then I started my own businesses and was working online, etc. Then of course you hit your first 10k month, and you know, okay, I had the same thing like him, like this is the end goal, and then you hit it, and okay, that's fine, but we can do more, right? Okay, yeah, let's do it. Then you're doing more, and it's also perfect, and everything is going well actually. And then after that, I got my daughter. So that was like 1 year ago now. And then you really feel something different than all the goals you've set. Like it's, you know right now how it feels. It's just something way deeper than life actually. It's like really the deep purpose, like, oh, I've built this thing, but it's not like building a business, it's something really special, and then you really know like what the meaning is for your life. So that's right now what my why is, like, okay, I want to show her the world, show her what's possible. Also, like right now when I see all of you guys, I get so inspired, like this is such a cool thing what we're doing right now, right? So I want to show her all of that, all of life actually. So that's my why.
Amazing, bro. Beautiful. Note that down if you have your phone as well.
Yeah, so mine, no surprise, was initially freedom for sure, but took sort of many forms, and now it's settled more in security, which I see as still a form of freedom, but it's more sort of centered. So initially, when I first was chasing freedom, I tried to relinquish everything. I was like, capitalism is bad, like money's bad. Went to India, went there with the monks doing Vipassana meditations, being like, I don't need money. And then you start realizing like, we're in the system, like we have to make money. So came back to Cape Town, started my business with my then girlfriend, and we started traveling again, chasing freedom once again. Got the freedom, travel over, started making decent money. But there was still this sense inside where it's like freedom, but you still have this level of anxiety. And I think it was because I didn't have a base.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a base where I was living, and I was just hopping from place to place. Thailand, Bali, Dubai, wherever. And you start realizing that freedom is cool, but there needs to be this like stability. And now I would say that's my why, is to get that stability, and also for my unborn child. So, well, yeah, hopefully to be, yeah. And then providing for now my mother too. So here in Cape Town. So I would say, yeah, it's like morphed from freedom to security and providing for my loved ones. So, yeah.
Amazing, man. And this is the thing, this is why this work never ends, because it will change over time. It will actually, there is an evolution to your purpose and your why as a man. And one of the biggest questions I get asked when I'm working with people and why they come to work with me is like, I want to find the purpose. I'm like, it will change. So once you find it, you won't have it for long, because it will be something new. And it's seeing it as this evolution, right? We're human, we're not human beings, we're human becomings, right? We're always changing, we're always evolving and moving. And so just noticing, like, realistically, there's only you right now in this present moment. This is the only you that exists. None of you from the past is existing. The future is not guaranteed, it's just right now. So the more you can just realize, okay, what is the most important thing right now? And this is what helps you to act fast. It's when you're truly just present in the moment of knowing, okay, this is what I need to do right now. And that's it. It's like Steve Jobs had this practice, he called it the signal and the noise. Has anyone heard of that? I think he talks about it in his book. The most simple practice. The question is, what's the signal for today? The signal is, what are the 3 things today that just have to get done today, and everything else is just noise. And that just sits on your desk there, and it's like, this is just what I need to do today, right? Because what that does is it gives you the most unfair advantage in the marketplace, which is focus. Literally, that's what it is. It's focus. I did this with a client recently. I actually have an NDA signed with him, but I can say he's in his mid-20s, He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and crazy what he's done, but has ADHD. So struggled with being able to focus. And the only reason he hired me was just to be able to get that focus back, to be able to just point it like a laser beam. And that was the first thing that we did. Literally, we got him clear on what is the thing right now that I need to do that's actually going to move the needle. Because it's so easy to just go, I need to do this thing, I need to do that thing, I need to respond to that. And before you know it, you're gone. All of your intention, all of your will, it's just disappeared, it's evaporated. But when you can just have that thing right there in front of you, however you do it, in your own, whatever format works for you, for me it's just like a piece of paper on my computer, then it gives you it. It gives you that focus. Okay, you said yours, I believe. Okay, so we're gonna go into it in a minute. Does anyone have any questions or any things that they wanted to share or go into beforehand? Anything on anyone's minds? Anything?
I have something. I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys can hear me.
Can hear you loud and clear, my man. Go for it.
Okay, perfect. So Ibrahim, we met in Bali, and I know you've been in sales as well, in high-ticket sales, and it's all about belief and transitioning your belief. Because I had a couple of times that I had a really good sales call, everything was going well. I named the price, we agree on a payment term or whatever. He says, yeah, let's do it. But then there's still something in between. They need to actually pay and sign the contract. Everything's going well, and then I send that link, and I get this belief, no way. No way she's gonna transfer 5K. No way he's gonna do it now. And within 5 seconds, something happens. With the prospect, they come up with something, I'm not gonna do it now, or something comes up. Do you know what it is?
Well, that's a first of all, question for you. In that example, you have context. Why do you think it is? Gut response, first thing that comes to your mind.
I think it's because they see I wasn't 100% certain, or I was doubting.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Whenever there's any uncertainty in you, whether it's said or not, the other person will feel it. So you understand that. You already knew the answer to that question before you asked me, right? So one level beneath that, where does that uncertainty or doubt come from inside of you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know, maybe from beliefs that, let's say you have a week, you didn't perform well, and you go into call, you think like, I can do it, and you do everything well, and then you think of that again, that something didn't go well, or an old identity or whatever, and it pops in your mind, and then the other person can feel it. But then the question, how do you fundamentally get rid of it? Because that's what I struggle with sometimes.
You're in sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe in what you're selling?
Yeah, I do.
How much do you believe in it?
I believe if they put in the work, they can get great results.
You see how when I asked you that question, there was that pause. You see, when you said, yeah, I do, you weren't fully bought into it. There were questions in your mind. And maybe that could be from a whole host of different reasons why, from your experience, but that's the reason why. That pause is the difference between someone saying no and someone saying yes. It's that level of certainty and belief that you have. And so that's the thing to actually figure out. It's understanding what that, for you very specifically, what that thing is. And for me, for example, when I run my agency, when you've worked with hundreds of clients in an agency, you realize like some people are going to get results, some aren't, right? You just know it's, whatever you sell, it's obviously also down to the person. So for example, I'll use myself as an example. What I do now, I know I can help any person on earth. I know that for sure. I have zero doubt in my mind. But I also know that they need to do certain things to help themselves, right? Like if they do zero action after, probably they're not going to get the result. If they don't have a certain amount of hunger, probably they're not going to get as good of a result. And there's certain things, right? So I will explain that very clearly to somebody before they can work with me. And my sales team will explain that to people before they can work with me. And the reason why I do that is because if I've done those things and the person is bought in and agrees, then I have zero doubt in my mind. Like literally zero doubt. And when you have no doubt in your mind, you can sell anything for any amount. So for you, whatever those questions are, whatever those limiting beliefs are, those thoughts in your mind, you need to, maybe we can do it in the Q&A after if we have time, but if not, do this yourself. You need to become aware of every single one of those things, what they are, what those doubts are. There'll probably be just a handful of them once you do this. Then you can start to look at, okay, I can question it. What can I do about that? What can I change? What can I influence? To the point where your belief is as high as it can possibly can be. And as soon as you do that, then that one thing will change your sales. I promise you. One of the things I do with my own sales team, obviously I hypnotize them every single day. And one of the things that I do is that's why they're so good. Every single day, every client testimonial we've ever had, you know how like you'll watch them before to give yourself confidence, right? I'll embed that in a hypnosis that they'll listen to every single day. So they have like dozens and dozens and dozens of people saying how it's changed their life, not just mentally, but like in their subconscious. So when somebody comes in with that exact same fear or doubt that you sense, before you would have hesitated, now you're like, bang, you just go through it like a bulldozer because you already know, you have to think about the answer, it's already in your subconscious. So if you take yourself through a similar process where you become aware of what those limitations are and then you can change them, that's what will make the difference for you. And oftentimes, here's the last thing I'll say. I said this earlier, the thing that people are actually buying is the certainty you can help them get from where they are now to where they want to go. People thank every single client that comes and works with me, they're thankful for my closer. They're like, oh my God, she was amazing. Like that was already transformational before they even start working with me. They've already had a transformation. Why? The reason why is because of exactly what I just said here. She already has transformed their belief systems before they've even started the process. And so that's what good sales is it's actually shifting beliefs. It's not convincing. It's yes, there's a process to sales technically, but really it's transforming beliefs. So if you can first of all recognize what they are in yourself, become aware of them, you can then do the same in others. And when you do that, that's when you go from just selling something to actually genuinely changing someone's life. And then when you do that, you switch from just push, and I don't know where you're at, but you get a lot more pull, because now you know you actually have a moral obligation to do it. Not just saying it because it sounds like a good thing to say, like you genuinely believe that in your, deep down inside of you. And then, when you're in a situation when someone's like, I'm not sure if they're the right fit, the way that you call them out may actually make them change in that moment. You might actually literally shift someone to go from being, oh, I'm just curious to, no, this is actually the thing I need to fucking do. And now you've actually changed their life in that moment. And you see, that's the difference, right? And maybe they're not the right person, maybe they're not, but they're there for a reason. They're there because they want to be on some level, even if they're not saying it. And sometimes it just takes you like really going there with them and challenging them to get them to make that change inside of them. And those are always the best freaking, isn't that just feel the best when they go from there to where they get to, right? It's the best transformation. Okay, any other questions from any of you guys on there? I hope you guys were right.
It makes a lot of sense, to be honest.
Do you reckon you can?
When I get it down, yeah, I can do that. I can figure it out for myself.
Okay. Okay. Did you guys also write down your whys as well as we were doing that? If you haven't,
Yeah, we did.
amazing. Make sure you've all done that. It's very, very important. Now, one last step we're going to do in this process. Now you've got that why clear, not just the goal, but the why, the purpose. It's in your mind, right? You've got that push and that pull motivation. What could stop you? What could stop you from getting there, right? What could actually inhibit you from getting to that goal? Whether it's a fear, whether it's a limiting belief, or you think it's something outside of you, anything that could stop you. We're not going to go through everyone just for time's sake, but we'll do a couple. And I want you to think about this for yourself. And as you're thinking about it, write it down. Who's got one in their head? What could stop you?
Comfort.
Okay. Comfort. Expand.
For example, posting online for me is uncomfortable as well.
Mhm.
And I know if I don't do it, I don't get enough reach to potential clients, for example. But also comfortable in the salary, like how much you're earning. I'm really comfortable right now, like it's pretty good, just doing my thing. But I know there's so much more potential in that right now, so I think comfort would kill that.
What would make you uncomfortable?
Yeah, for example, posting online. It's uncomfortable for me.
Okay. Why?
Yeah, the opinions of other people.
Which people?
Well, from the past as well.
Okay. Which people from the past?
I I think from high school.
Which people from high school?
I think my old friends from high school.
What are their names?
Sorry?
What are their names? What do you think they'd say?
That it's really worth what I'm doing right now.
It's not worth, would you say?
It's really worth.
Worth?
Weird.
Weird? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
What part of you feels like it's weird, what you're doing right now?
Because it's different than other people are currently doing from the friends from high school.
Yeah. What about these people? Is it different from these guys?
Yeah.
So why do you focus on them?
The friends from high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I think some part of me is still taking care about the opinions of the friends from the past.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how I am doing it, to be honest.
So there are reasons why, and it's when you can understand why this happens, then it's much easier to change. So are you like close with them now, or not so much? Those friends from the past.
Well, I think once every 3 or 4 months I speak to them.
Okay.
So
Not that close. Well, you said they were from the past, so that was the first the first thing that gave it away.
Yeah.
So in your mind, what do you think if you were to not be friends with them anymore and you were to let go of them or lose them as friends, what would that mean for you? What would you lose?
I don't think I really care about it anymore, maybe.
You don't care anymore?
I'm not sure, but I think I will care less than now about it.
Okay. So what do you think the thing is that's making you think back to them thinking it's weird? What do you think's causing that? What do you think's causing you to think maybe those friends from the past think you posting online is weird? Where do you think that comes from? Is there a memory?
Well, I've been not getting bullied by those kind of friends, but they were thinking that I was weird in the past as well.
Yeah. In high school?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you think back to a certain time?
Well, I was really skinny in high school, like 50 kg, and I was always like the guy that was not taken seriously. So I was always different than other people. So maybe that's the reason. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Is there when you think back to that time when you were kind of bullied in high school, when you were 50 kg, how did you feel about yourself back then?
Really bad.
Yeah. How do you describe that bad feeling?
I couldn't really see myself in the mirror because I didn't go to public swimming pools. Yeah.
Yeah. So that emotion of that bad feeling that you felt from back then, that when it's not expressed and essentially let go of, then that part of you, and you said, you literally used the words part of you, which is that's correct, will show up when there's another situation, like now, for example, posting content that could put you in that same position. So that's what causes that resistance. That's all it is, okay? And this is by the way, where most resistance comes from. It is from other events in the past that happened that caused some kind of pain or something bad happened or some kind of discomfort, because you adapt behaviorally to it. We haven't gone into too much of that stuff today, but it's one of the biggest factors. So we'll do a practice right now, actually, real quick. Anyone wants to join in with this, we'll do it. Okay, so put your feet straight, and then, yeah, just like that's good. And I'll just take your hand like this. I just want you to fully relax your arm, so it goes nice and heavy. Let it go, so I'm holding the whole weight of your arm. Just imagine your arm's like a big sack of meat. So when I drop it down to your leg, it will just flop down, like it's nice and relaxed. Yeah, now we'll do it this one, even heavier. Heavier, heavier, heavier. Just make your arm, there we go. See how it's going more heavy? I want you to just let it go so heavy that when I drop it down, it will just slap down to your leg, just like that. Perfect. And then just follow my finger like this and just look up at it. And as you look up at my finger, what you'll notice is that your eyes will start to feel heavier the more that you look up. And as you start to look up and your eyes feel heavier, the sound of my voice will just take you a little bit deeper into this relaxation. And when I say the word sleep, you're not going to go to sleep, you're just going to go into a relaxed state with your eyes closed. Sound good? In 3, 2, 1, and sleep, fully relaxing all the way down. Now I just want you to go back to that time in high school when you were 50 kilos, and your mind is immediately going to bring you back to a time, an event, or a memory when you were bullied. when people made fun of you, when you felt really bad inside. And once your mind has found that time when you were bullied and when you felt bad inside, I just want you to nod your head for me. Okay, cool. Now I want you to visualize that memory as if you were there right now. See who was there. What did you look like? Where were you? What were the surroundings? And then I want you to hear whatever you may have heard before as well. So maybe it was what people said, maybe it was thoughts in your own mind. And then I just want you to feel the feeling that you felt back then. Maybe it was like a knot in your stomach or a tightness in your chest or whatever it was. Once you can start to feel that feeling inside of your body, that uncomfortable, that bad feeling, I just want you to nod your head for me. Okay. Now, if you want to release that feeling for good from that time, all I want you to do is just start breathing into your lower stomach here, through your nose, there you go, and out through your nose for slightly longer on the exhale. Now I just want you to continue with this breath in through your nose into the belly and out through your nose into the belly. And as you continue with this, you're going to feel more relaxed, you're going to feel more calm. The thoughts in your mind are going to start to slow down as you stay focused on that memory. Your body's just going to feel calmer, it's going to feel more comfortable, it's going to feel more relaxed. Your heart rate's going to slow down. You're going to start to feel heavier and heavier and heavier. There you go, just like that on your seat. And now when you think back to that, I want you to now try and actually bring up that bad feeling. And as you try and bring it up, you're going to continue to do that breath just like that. And it's actually going to start to just release that feeling. And it's actually just going to start to move out of you like an energy that just goes out of your body. There you go. You see that? That's it moving out. And now, as you continue to just release this feeling, you're just going to do this for a moment until you don't think that you can feel that feeling anymore. Until you breathe and then you think, where did that go? It's gone. Once you're there, you can just say the word yes for me. Take as much time as you need. Okay. Now, all I want you to do now is imagine that you're seeing that memory on a screen that's right in front of you. And as you look at it on that screen, just like you did before, you're going to see it just like before, but now it's on a screen just a few inches away from your eyes. Once you can see that, I now want you to imagine that memory moving out and away from you. So it goes out and away, further away into the distance. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until it's so small that that screen is like a little dot in your mind's eye. And now that it's a little dot, you can just about see it if you really focus on it. Now imagine it goes black and white, like an old movie from the past. And just like when you watch an old movie from the past, it starts to disappear. And in a moment, it starts to go blank. And as it goes blank, your mind goes completely blank. And now you remember to forget that memory, and the more you try and think about it, the more you forget it, but not just the memory, the feeling that used to be there. And now when you think about that memory, I want you to ask yourself one question. Why was that the best possible thing that could have happened? Because the questions that you ask your mind are the ones that it will find answers for. You see, sometimes we're just asking ourselves shitty questions, but when we ask better questions, we'll find better answers. And as you start to find those better answers, maybe it was who you became, the changes that you made, the drive it gave you, whatever it was. Maybe you started going to the gym. You start to see all of these answers. And as you see these answers, you might even start to feel a sense of gratitude in your chest. You might actually start to feel good about it. You might even have a slight smile on your face as you start to realize that there were two sides to that story, and that there's always two sides to every story. It's just what side of the story you focused on. That's the question. And as you feel that gratitude and that you have that smile on your face, when you try and think back to that memory now, this is now the emotion that you'll feel. And it feels good inside. It feels actually great inside. It fills you up. It gives you this sense of belief, this sense of confidence inside of yourself. And now you take this state and you see yourself now making content, putting yourself out there. Notice immediately how different that feels inside of you. when you start making content. You start to imagine yourself doing it, going through the process, getting in front of the camera, and this is exactly how you feel. How much more successful would you be if this version of you showed up making content? Now it's done. You see that? It's different. Now see yourself a year down the line from making that content consistently. What do the numbers look like? What does the following look like? How many clients are there? How much impact have you made? All because you just changed your perspective about yourself. And when you fully know and understand that this change has been made, you can open your eyes. Okay. Welcome back. How you feeling?
Great. Yeah.
How do you feel about making content now?
I'm excited to make content.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. This is the power of your mind. This is the power of your subconscious mind.
All right.
Yeah. And all these guys are going to now be able to keep you accountable to it as well. All right. Amazing. Good stuff, man. So, should we get into this? You guys ready?
Let's go.
Should we have some fun? You ready? Good. I want you to be sleepy for this. It's good. Makes my job easier. I saw that yawn. It's good. I saw you yawn. That's a good thing because you're going to go to sleep. For anyone who hasn't done this before, it's a very simple process, as you just saw. Basically, it's just going to be two things. I'm just going to give you some words to follow, some instructions, and you're just going to relax. That's it. That's the only two things. If anyone does have any history of like bipolar or seizures or epilepsy, I know there was one guy who said they did. It's a safe process, but I have to give it as a disclaimer that you may want to step out. Aside from that, you'll be good to go. For you guys listening on the call, if you have headphones, it's a plus if you put them in because it just makes it a little bit more immersive. If you don't, it's also completely fine. Make sure you don't have any distractions for the next 8 to 10 minutes, so no phones going off, no one coming in the room, and you'll be good to go. And then all I want you to do as a last step is just review your notes for what you wrote down, because that's just what we're going to focus on in the hypnosis.
Sorry, what did you say about the notes?
If you wrote notes down, just review them now before we go into the hypnosis. You'll see why when we do it. How do you feel when you think back to that memory now? And when was that? How many years ago was that memory?
I think 5 years ago.
5 years ago?
Yeah.
How many times do you think you've thought about that memory? Or how regularly? Not
Not
very.
really regularly.
Yeah.
But it was really weird because when you told me that I need to think about the situation, I immediately thought about that situation, but I didn't really thought about it for a long time, I think.
Yeah. This is how the subconscious works. It's operating the whole time. Your subconscious would have stored that and it was in you and it would have been processed however many times, but it just wasn't in your conscious mind. So when you make the subconscious conscious, that's when you can actually change it, right? But oftentimes these things are just running in the background. And so now when you think back to that time, if you think how you may have felt before versus now, what's the change in that difference?
Well, now I'm really glad I experienced that because that's why I started going to the gym as well. And that's how I built my discipline as well. And that's why I'm here right now.
And that's also going to be your story and your content. There we go.
What a shit.
You weren't expecting Mark.
How he's speaking now, that's completely different.
This is what makes, when it comes to content, like this right now, what you just went through is what makes good content because it's authentic, right? What you went through, how many other millions of people do you think went through that? Or a version of that they can relate to, right? Your story is the most powerful asset you have when it comes to influencing people because we learn through stories, right? And so now you can tell that story, but from a different place now. Maybe before it was like, I didn't want to share that because I was insecure. Now it's your greatest asset. It's your superpower. Like for me, I have many. All my best stories is when like I was going through some shit, right? There's never a good story when everything just goes well, right? No one can relate to that because there's no hero's journey. We all have these hero's journeys, and for you, that was a central part of yours that now when you make content about it, it's not just you saying it to the camera, it's like, no, I've actually been through this, and people will feel that inside of you because it's real, and it's when like the guy who was talking about sales on there as well, he knew it was a belief thing that was stopping him. People can sense it when it's real versus not. You can say exactly the same thing, but it can be taken a completely different way because you're actually coming from your truth and your own story. So yeah, I'm excited to see that story. I'm going to follow you so I can see it. Okay, we all good to go? Just make sure if you wrote notes, you just review them once before we go into this, so they're just in the back of your mind. So basically, your vision and why. So just that, and it may have been what it was before. It may have shifted a little bit in the session. Just that, and then what's the thing that could stop you? What's the thing that could stop you from getting that? The only things that could stop you. If you had just those two things in your mind. And then once you've looked at it, you can just let it go. Like you don't have to be thinking about it now, just so it's in the back of your mind. All right, cool. So we're gonna start with just a few breaths. Anyone not done breath work before? Anyone not done it? Pretty simple, right? Yeah, you guys, it's just breathing. I don't need to go into the whole thing. So we're just gonna do a few rounds of breath just to get into this, okay? So the breath we're gonna do is just into the belly, into the chest, like this. And then not that, just so breathing in, and then there we go. Breathing in and out. Deep breath in and relax. Breathing in, letting it go. There we go. All the way in and relax. There we go. Deep breath in, relaxing the body on the way out. Exhale, good. In and out, relaxing. There we go. Deep breath in and out. Breathing in and fully relaxing on the exhale. There we go. In and relax. There we go. Letting it go. Deep breath in. Letting it go. All the way in. And relax. Letting it all go. Nice and soft. There we go. Deep breath in. And relax. Letting it all go. Just letting all your muscles go. Relaxed in. And out. 3 more breaths, deepest breaths in and out. Deep breath in and relax. All the way in. Hold, 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 hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Letting it go. Relax, relax, relax. Now, I want you guys to gently open your eyes just halfway and look at me. And I just want you to make your hands the same way I'm making them. So you're looking up at your hands. They should be high up. And you're just focused on your hands, okay? And you can just have a gentle focus on them. Now, what I want you to do is imagine that I'm coming around and I'm pouring glue on your hands. Just imagine what it would feel like if I was pouring glue and what the sensation of that glue would feel like if it was running through your hands. As I'm pouring that glue, you can feel it going through your fingers, you can feel it going through your palms. And as it goes through your fingers and palms, as I pour that glue there, in a moment that glue hardens and gets stuck. And as you imagine that feeling of stuckness in your hands, that feeling of stuckness travels into your head. And that feeling of stuckness travels down your entire body. Now, in a moment, when I say the word sleep, you're not going to go to sleep. You're going to just go into a very deep, relaxed, focused state with your mind focused. Every time you hear sleep, it's just going to take you deeper into hypnosis, which is a relaxed state starting, and sleep, fully relaxing, and sleep all the way down, and sleep, fully relaxing, and sleep, letting it all go, and sleep, letting it all go, and sleep, and sleep, and sleep, and sleep, all the way down. And now, as you focus, every word's going to take you deeper into this state of hypnosis. Hypnosis is just a state where you're more inward instead of outward. The more this hypnosis now travels through your body, I want you to imagine this hypnosis just goes down from your face like a wave down your entire body. And as it goes down your entire body, your body just starts to feel heavier. And as it starts to feel heavier, you start to feel more relaxed. Everything slows down. And in a moment, when I start counting down from 5 to 1, every time I say a number, in your mind, you will whisper the words deeper asleep to yourself, which will just take you deeper into this state of hypnosis, starting with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and sleep. And now I want you to imagine that you're walking barefoot out onto a beautiful white sand beach. As you walk on this beach, you can actually feel the feeling of the grains of sand in your feet. And as you imagine that feeling right now, you can maybe even start to feel that. And you can also feel the feeling of the temperature of the sun on your skin. And as you walk on this white sand beach, you look around, it's empty. You can hear the gentle sound of waves crashing in the distance. And as you look out at the perfect blue ocean, it's just blue for as far as your eye can see. And you can see the waves crashing gently in that rhythmic fashion. And as you curiously walk up to the water along the sand, you can start to feel the texture of the sand changing as it gets wet in your feet. And as you go up to the water, you can start to look down at this crystal clear water. And as the sun shines down on the water, you can see a reflection. But the reflection that you see isn't what you expected. The reflection you see is an old part of yourself. It's a part of yourself that's been carrying on to a fear. It's been holding on to an old belief about yourself, a belief that wasn't serving you. And as you see that belief, you feel that fear, you start to see your past, maybe what it was connected to. You start to see reflections of what would actually happen if you continued living your life with that fear or that limitation. And you start to see reflection after reflection. Every time the tide comes in, a new reflection comes, and every single new reflection that comes, a year goes by, and then 5 years goes by, then 10 years of your life goes by as you've carried these fears and these limiting beliefs. And as you look back at the last decade of your life, you think, where did that time go? What happened? I didn't get to where I thought I was going to go. And now, as you continue to see these reflections in this water, just more and more and more time goes by, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, until you see one last image. And this last image that you see is the image of the last moments of your life. And in these last moments of your life, as you lay there about to pass away, as you look back at your life, there's a part of you deep down inside that feels a pain. And that pain that you feel is regret. And you feel that regret because in this moment, you finally have the realization that the only reason you didn't live a life that was your most authentic, highest potential version of your life was because you allowed these fears and these limiting beliefs to stop you. You allowed them, no one else. And as you feel that pain build inside of your body, it's like a fire gets lit deep inside of you. And that fire turns that pain into power. And you get up and you choose differently. And as you choose differently, suddenly your whole life rewinds. It goes all the way back to that moment with you on that beach. And now when you look down into that water, into those reflections, now you start to see a different life, a different timeline that you can go down. And as you take one deep breath in right now and exhale out of your mouth, it's like you've started to let it go. And as you start to let it go, you realize that all of that fear, all of that limitation was an armor that you were carrying. You were carrying it up until this moment in your life, and it's heavy. And that heavy armor served a purpose. Its purpose was to protect you. But you don't need it to protect you anymore because now you see differently. And so now as you walk into that water and you feel that water go around your feet, you feel it go up your ankles, all the way up to your knees, that armor starts to melt away. It starts to break. It starts to come off of you and dissolve into the water. And suddenly your legs just feel completely free and light. And now you continue to go deeper into that water, up to your waist, up to your stomach, up to your arms, up to your chest, until your entire body is submerged in this water. And all of that heavy armor that you've been carrying your entire life up until this moment has gone. It's washed away. And you feel so light in this moment. Your entire body feels lighter and lighter and lighter until you realize that you're floating in this water. And as you're floating with your arms out, you're completely held. You feel this lightness, this euphoria, this level of freedom that you've never felt before. Not a freedom based on the external, but a freedom internally. And now, as you start to see the vision of your life play out, as you look out, you start to see what your life now looks like. You start to see the version of yourself showing up. The version of yourself with absolute certainty, absolute conviction, and self-belief. How does this version of yourself show up differently? How does he walk? How does he talk? How does he articulate himself? How does he make eye contact when he speaks to people? What is the time from going from thought to action? He acts immediately without even thinking about it because he has so much certainty in exactly where he's going. His vision is so clear and he knows exactly why he's doing it. It's not just for himself, but it's in service of a higher purpose, something bigger than himself. And because he has that, it pulls him towards that vision. He has this burning fuel and push towards that vision because he knows what happens if he allows fear or doubt to come in, but he's also pulled towards that vision at the exact same time by that higher purpose. And now you see what your life looks like as this version of yourself. Notice what it looks like. Where do you live? Who do you surround yourself with by? What kind of shape are you in? What kind of success do you have? What kind of impact do you have? How do you show up? What are your emotions like? What do you look like? What do you wear? See this version of yourself with absolute clarity right now. Notice it. Now, this version of you, this life, is so clear. It feels so familiar. it actually starts to feel so comfortable right now, so known, that that old version of you from the past feels so far away. It almost becomes hard to associate with that old version of yourself from this perspective. It's like when you look back, it feels like a million years ago. And this version of yourself now knows exactly what to do, how to show up, what actions to take to get to that vision. Everything else is just noise. Everything else is just noise. And as you fully lock in this version of you, just take one final deep breath in and out. And it's done. There's no questions. It is done. And when you come back, this is the version of you that you will show up as. And you will know exactly what to do to create this new life. In 3, 2, 1, eyes open, wide awake. Just give everyone a minute to come back. George wants to say something.
Pretty light. Yeah.
Almost gone.
Sorry?
The almond.
Yeah.
You look like you've taken some good drugs, is what, that's what you look like. I'll just say what everyone's thinking. How would you describe that lightness? How is it different?
Quite relieving.
Mm.
Yeah.
Why?
Like expectations, fear, that's really what like comes off in that process. So yeah, I feel like it's all just right there in front of my eyes, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How different do you feel now about your goals and your vision and what you want to create compared to before?
Like it's almost like I'm on a conveyor belt. It's kind of just going there, you know?
That is the perfect analogy for what it feels like when your subconscious is now aligned with your conscious. It's automatic, right? It's just like when you're on a conveyor belt, you can still walk on the conveyor belt and you'll go faster, but you're moving either way, right? That's the feeling. It's just happening. And it's like a wave. It's like a rising tide that lifts all ships. It's just going. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Never seen you smile so big, man.
Yeah, I've been stressed recently, to be honest, but now I honestly just feel like it's trivial stuff.
Amazing. How's the rest of you guys feeling?
Great. Very clear.
Clear?
No more judgment. None. All the way aligned.
All the way aligned. I like that.
Yeah.
How about you, man? How you doing?
I'm used to it.
Yeah, he's like, this is just my morning. This is what I do. This is what I do every day.
I'm used to your voice, man. My head comes.
Well, when we have our like AI me basically released, and we're also going to get Maggie on there as well. So you'll get to have a new voice soon as well. If you get sick of my voice, you can have as our clients say, an angelic voice. That sounds better. Amazing. So anyone else want to share, by the way, or questions, and anyone online as well? All good if not, because oftentimes you just want to like come back down to earth and just process a little bit. What I recommend you do is just take a little bit of time to yourself, just to let it sink in and just notice how you feel right now compared to before, so that you can actually just see the difference for yourself. And then any thoughts that are coming through, ideas, oftentimes these are going to be very good things you want to follow, because your conscious and subconscious are completely aligned. So listen to whatever's coming up, because oftentimes, like my clients, they have big breakthroughs with those thoughts. So pay attention, journal, however you like to do it. That's it. It's already done. So just follow whatever you feel is right for you now. Yeah.
One last question.
Sure.
How do you like stick to whatever you're feeling right now the best way possible, instead of just writing it down and reading it. Like, how do you match your subconsciousness in a normal day, like day to day?
I would say the consistency is key. So, I mean, one thing you can do is from this, we can make an audio from this specifically. We can do custom ones, like I did for Unique as well, as an option, which I can talk to you about if you want. But just in whatever way you do it, you just want to set aside the time in your day to prioritize this ideally first thing, to just get yourself back into this state. For me, I just do 8 minutes of hypnosis a day. That's my whole routine. It's literally just that in the morning and then I just go. That's it. Everyone has different things they like. So whatever it is for you, but just setting time to remind yourself of who you are, and then that's who you operate from. Yeah. Any other questions? All good? Everyone's like feeling good, feeling out of it, feeling on drugs. I had someone ask me the difference between hypnosis and ayahuasca, like a genuine question. I was like, damn. I was like, well, some people do say it feels like shrooms, so you can tell me how you feel, but I always feel good after, clear and calm. So.
What is a good question to ask yourself after?
A good question to ask yourself. Oh, that's a good question. Maggie, what do you think is a good question to ask yourself? So like you're good at. Maggie's the one who helps me with what questions to ask myself. She's the hypnotist behind the hypnotist. What do you think? What's a good question to ask yourself after hypnosis?
I think a really good question would be to anchor in maybe some of the feelings and the visions of what you're moving away from that came through, writing that down or somehow, noting it down, and then taking note of the visions that came through once you felt light and once you were like envisioning that new reality, because sometimes like new things will come through.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I didn't even know that was something that I desired or like was on my heart to do.
Yeah. Just for the people on Zoom, if you didn't hear, what am I moving away from and what am I moving towards? And that can be a physical thing, that can be a value, that can be a belief system, because it's like when you went back and listened to those old beliefs, you're like, what the heck? Like I literally don't even recall that. That's good. And so you can anchor that in right now and afterwards, just to remind yourself of that. Because it's sometimes, if you go back and then just do the same thing that you were doing before and don't take different, actions, then you'll eventually reprogram yourself to go back, right? So if you can remind yourself of just what am I moving away from, what am I moving towards, then it just, because every moment is a decision. Every single moment, every single thing that you do, it's a moment of decision, and it's taking you further away or closer towards where you want to go. Every single second and every single thing that you do. So if you can just remind yourself that, I am actually going one way or the other. There's no such thing as staying the same. If you feel like you're staying the same, then you're probably going not the right way, right? So if you can just be aware of that, then it activates that pain and pleasure, or the push and the pull inside of you, and then you're back in. And it will also, if you can, like to what Maggie's point was, if you can really recall this state, it will anchor it in more. And the more, we didn't go into like anchors and stuff today if anyone studied NLP, but the more you can anchor in the feeling or the sensation, the more it will get stronger inside of you as well, and the more that you'll operate from that.
What would you say is a good practice to do, let's say next week inside of the new standard, to emphasize more of what we just did today? Because a lot of people were here, so I think if we do more of what we just did, then it can benefit extra.
What's a good practice to do next week?
Yeah.
Just continually?
We have 2 meetings every single week. So is there something you would say that we can like reflect on what happened today? Or maybe some questions you can maybe send me through that we can make an assignment from?
So building off the what am I moving away from, what am I moving towards, what is that change that you feel happened right now? And then 1 week from today, how did I show up? Was it more from that one I was moving away from, or more the one I was moving towards? Just a reflection. because that will tell you everything, right? That will show you how much on the path that you were. Probably most people, it will be in the positive direction. But if you can just look back and ask yourself, you can then start to identify the pattern as well, because you might be like, I moved more towards it in this way, but in that way, I didn't really show up yet. Okay, why? What's the pattern? What's behind that? And you can start to go deeper and change these routes. Yeah.
We'll do that.
Anything else?
Thanks
We
for
Gucci?
taking the time.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Pleasure.
you.
My pleasure.